Hello, this is Lolly. I am back with another installment of my Lolly Tops videos, which is my top picks for a particular category. Today I want to talk about my top picks for adding color to a project, and of course this varies depending on what project you're working on. We'll move through this rapidly. I'm not going to be really doing a lot of demonstrating, just telling you what my favorites are. This is Dr. P.H. Martin's Radiant Concentrated Watercolor. It's beautiful colors. They are brilliant. They are not light fast. So in other words, if you have a project and it's hanging on a wall and the sun shines on it, it will fade over time. And then this is just regular old watercolor. I've just gotten these Prima watercolors that are in the cases here. And I do like them so far. So they're these little cakes here. I do put the numbers on the backs of the cakes to remind me what they are. I'm not sure at this point whether you can get refills for just one or more, or if you have to always buy them according to the tin. But these are so portable. I love that. This one here is a gelato, which is like it looks like a lip balm. It's a nice creamy crayon, and you can do it on your mat, on your waterproof mat, and then use a wet brush to pull up color, or you can color with it like this and then add water afterwards. But you know, there are many ways of using it. You can see it takes a while to kind of break it up if you're doing it on the page. Usually I do it on, like I said, a multimedia mat, but you can see it's kind of breaking up now. And you can leave the chunks in there depending on what you're trying to get in your project. And this is a cold press watercolor pad. So it's bumpy. If you want the smooth surface, get a hot press. And this shows you like the tray of the gelatos that won't open up here for me. Of course, there you go. I'm trying to do this with one hand. So that is beautiful. They come in a variety of colors and they're so fun to play with. Okay, this one down here, one of my faves, because I love colored pencils. These are watercolor colored pencils. My first one is this brand here. I don't even know how to pronounce it, Brunzil. And you just do your coloring, and then when you add water, it melts or dissolves and becomes watercolor. So it's really great for if you're wanting to have shading, because you can go dark to light really easily. And this last one, I really would love to have more of these, is the Derwent Ink Tints pencils. Love these, love these. These are actually inks, so that when they are dry, they're fast to the page, but look how brilliant that color is. It is so phenomenal. I love it. And when it dries, it's actually an ink, so you can add layers upon it, whereas with a watercolor, you can't really do that. So that color will stay fast once it is dry. Okay, let's move on to some more of my favorite colors. Okay, one of my favorites, and you know if you've seen my other projects, is to use the Decocolor Premium Gold Marker and by Marubi Uchida, and you shake it up until the ball rattles, and then you use this to put gold upon the edge or just to decorate with on your project. I use this a lot. It's great for edging pages in journals. And sprays. I do have some sprays. I have these ones I got recently from Auntie Vera's Scrap and Craft. They're called Fireworks. They have to be shaken up because they have some mica powder in them. But some of my favorites are the Perfect Pearl Mists as well, because those ones add pearl shine as it's adding color. Love those. And one of my most recent sprays is I have made super strong instant coffee, cooled it down, and put that in a spray bottle. And I just misted over projects that I want to give an aged look to. And I know there is a huge marker versus colored pencil debate as far as what do you color in your stamped images with. I do have a few Copic markers that I have been starting to collect. So far, they're just not winning me over. It may just be because of the expense, and I have not invested the time to really work hard on developing my skills with that. And I don't have enough in my set at this point to really work hard at it. But since I grew up with colored pencils, I realize I am biased toward colored pencils. I love Prismacolor, Barrel Prismacolor. They're soft and creamy. They're not like hard and scratchy like a number 2 pencil or the Crayola brand of colored pencils. So I love these. I will have to do a separate video later about really using them in shading and blending, because I think that's one of our problems, is that we're hesitant to use them because of those. We don't like the scratchy look or the not too blended look we get with colored pencils. Okay, moving on. I've recently begun to be using alcohol inks, and these are really growing on me. And these are by Ranger, and I do have the alcohol blending solution. And they are good for using on rather slick surfaces. I'm going to use them on photo paper because someone advised that, and I've been using them on mugs. And very easy to do. I had my grandchildren working on this project as well. It's super easy. And another good brand of paper to use is Yupo paper, Y-U-P-O. And so basically it allows them to flow, like you see here. They don't necessarily blend so much as push each other out of the way. Create beautiful, beautiful designs with that. Okay, let's see what else I have on my list. Now, obviously I use a lot of acrylic paints because I do mixed media and I don't have a favorite brand. I had stored up on these folk art brands and American crafts and things like that for years because I was painting fabric and I was just using these. So I can't really refer you to like the best brands, and I really at this point am not investing in top brands. This is a Hobby Lobby brand. It works well. I like the bottom cap instead of the top. I've had these caps break all the time on me, and it's a frustration. Okay, and one of my real favorites, because I love things that are shimmery, shiny, and glittery, is Perfect Pearls. These are by Ranger, but any kind of pearl pigment I am fond of, and I do have other brands, and I don't even know what brand this one is. Let's see, Radiant Pearls by Angel Wings Enterprises. So Radiant Pearls is another brand that I have. And these add a shimmer to your project. Love that. And I recently did a mixed media project where I used the gold and put that around as accents. Very pretty, very pretty. Now, one of the things that most stampers and scrappers use a lot is ink pads. But frankly, I've never really gotten very fond of colored ink pads. Now I have them, I use them, but I don't use them as often as I just use a black ink pad, color in, and do that. So at this point I'm not recommending any of my top favorite colored ink pads because I really don't have any. But again, they have a time and place. Usually if I want to stamp a little heart in a solid color. And believe it or not, I have had these Marvy Matchables. I have had this for 20 years. It just shows you how little I use them. I have a lot, and they're thick and chunky. I love the chunky pad. I don't even know if they still sell these. So I am just now starting to look into getting some more colored pads. That aside, I do really like the distress pads. And I had, I think, about 5 of them, and then a dear friend told me that she had a whole set of them and she wasn't using them, and could she send them to me. What a blessing. I think she sent me 30 distress ink pads. So now I'm working on getting the matching sponges, so I'll stick them on the bottom so they're all like that. But I do use distress ink pads a lot to edge my papers and to make them look distressed. But that said, that's about the only colored pads that I'm using. So those are my top picks for ways to add colors to project. Now I guess you could add washi tape in there. That does add color to a project, and of course colored papers and pattern papers. But I guess I'm taking that for granted, and I'm looking for other ways to add color to projects that are not paper related. So leave me any comments below about your favorite projects. I would love to hear what you are relying on for your top picks.